Hi everyone, my name's PK, and here I have the lovely Lhendy Labajo. She is a client of the Property Investment Accelerator. She's bought four properties now. She started with just $50,000, and after just a few weeks of doing the course, she bought her first property. Fast forward a couple of years, four properties, just about to buy her fifth now. It's going to be a really interesting story because Lendy is originally from the Philippines. She's the first generation immigrant. She's a nurse living in Sydney with her family. To get to Australia, to get to this situation that she's created for herself, she actually put in a lot of sacrifice. She actually went to Iraq, of all places in the Middle East, to save enough money to be able to start migrating and sort of aim for the Australian dream. Like I said, now she's got four properties going on five. She tried all sorts of different things to get ahead, like e-commerce, Shopify, Amazon, etc., etc. We'll go on all that journey, how she's really hustled, clearly very determined, and real estate for her has really paid off. I'm really proud in a way to be connected with her, and I just want to say, Lendy, yeah, I'm very honored to be with you, and congratulations for everything you've achieved.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me, PK.
Well, let's start from the start. Like for everyone's benefit, I don't really know the intricacies of these stories before I hit record, so I'm learning as is everyone who's watching or listening. So, Lendy, before we hit record, you mentioned like you went to Iraq to earn money. I don't know if that's the right place to start, but it's definitely the one that piques my interest. So, like, you were in the Philippines, so what went through your mind? Were you like, okay, I need to get to Australia, so I need some money, and so therefore let me get a high-paying nursing role in Iraq? Like, was that how it went?
Yeah, that's right. Being a nurse back home in the Philippines, it's just really hard. I think we are the least profession who's been, given the importance from the government. Um, so for me to be better in life, I would say I have to really risk. And to be honest, when I've been planning to come here in Australia because I had two friends who came here 2011, and it's just really not possible for me, financially, because as a nurse back home you need to do conversion. Like, you are not generally um regarded as a registered nurse, so you have to study. In my case, I have to study 1 year. That was an option for me, and the tuition fee is just really expensive because I am a foreign student. So what I did was I applied first in Jordan. I I stayed there for like 15 months, but there was just really problems. I'm trying to not remember, but some of my friends were put to jail, and I was like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm not, I'm happy to risk, but it's just very unsafe. Um, and then funny thing was, there was an offer when I was still in Jordan. There was an offer to work in Iraq, and the pay was just really high. Like, it's quite good. So I was like, if only I will work for 1 year, I can save the tuition fee to be a student nurse here in Australia. So when I applied, I really didn't inform my parents back then. I just told them I'll be going to Turkey because really, because Iraq, it's there's that bad image somehow. And even our passports, there's a stamp or note that not valid for travel to Iraq at that time.
right.
So I had to find ways to go. I'm not sure if I can say it, but I went to via Hong Kong. So then from Hong Kong, I went to Iraq, and then I came here. That's like a 5 years plan for me, really, to come here in Australia. So I came here 2016 on
Mhm.
a student visa, and everything just yeah. Then 2016, I came here, study for a year, and and became a registered nurse 2017. And same year, we got our PR as well. So I came here with my husband. And to be honest, that's the first time we kind of like live like husband and wife. Because before going to Iraq, he was the only person who knew actually. And we got married by secret. So it was I I love adventures. I don't know. So my parents were like, "What? You're married?" So it was a big adjustment for me, not just culturally and everything, and financially as well. So when we came here, I have to share with other Filipinos. So we just rented one room, and there was no aircon, there's no heater, and because the weather is completely different from what I used to be. Like my toes are just really becoming puffy, and just like it was a big adjustment for me. So, and actually, PK, what really prompted me to go with property investment, as you've mentioned, I've done Shopify, Amazon. So I also like pay for those courses, and I also tried crypto, but it's just really not for me. And when I was keen to have a baby, I had IVF, but in the process of having IVF, I was told I have ovarian cancer.
Oh,
So yeah, so we have to stop that one, and it made me realize that I've been through a lot already, and that's it. Like that's the life for me already. So I've been like really working like two jobs, 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and yeah, just go for the next hospital. So I didn't question, like, that's it. So if I will not change a thing to my routine, I will always trade my time for money. And then, well, everything was okay now. Like I had a surgery, I had another go of IVF. I have she's 4 years old now. So then I saw your mentorship in Facebook, and then I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I'm lucky. I think I'm lucky, even though I'm still far from being financially free. But somehow I'm getting the results already. I'm enjoying the fruit of labor, because remember I told you I've been working two jobs, like from night shift, arrive home 8 o'clock, sleep for 3 hours, go to another hospital and start afternoon shift. And then yeah, but now, since again, four properties, it's not much, I know, but I'm confident that somehow it's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine with not to take extra shifts that much. I do still take some extra shifts, but not as much compared to before, like this, before I had this property investment journey. So I'm like, because I promised myself, like, Lord, just give me a child. I promise you I'll look after the child. So yeah, having time with the kid, and yeah, it again, it's still not 100%, but somehow I am like a step forward compared to my peers already. Yeah,
right.
sorry, a bit emotional with that.
No, as you're saying that, it's really warming my heart, and I think this world needs more people like you, more people that, like a lot of times for those of us in Australia, we take it for granted what we have. I think, one of the best countries in the world, Australia, that is. Most people are financially okay. Of course, we have things to complain about, but the amount of poverty and everything like that is very low. For me to even try to comprehend the pure determination, drive, and discipline it takes for someone to have to lie to go to another country in the Middle East to save enough to do a nursing kind of transfer or qualification in Australia. Like, not only is that really strategic, but it's high risk and it's just putting yourself so far outside your comfort zone. Personally, I don't think I would do it. And I consider myself someone who takes risks, and someone who tries to live, outside my comfort zone because that's where the magic happens. But even I wouldn't want to do what you've described your journey as. So, I mean, before we go on, I just want to say how amazing you are as a person and how amazing your journey is. I think you should be incredibly proud of yourself. I'm sure all your family and friends and colleagues and as your child grows up, they're 4 years old now as they grow up and they hear what their mom and of course their dad did to get them into that situation, they'll be like spellbound and really in awe of what their parents have done to give them what they have. So yeah, I mean, I think that's just very important for me to say to in talking
Thank
with a
you.
human being like you. There's so many things to talk about. I just want to touch on the Iraq side of things. Because there's a saying that change only happens when the pain of staying the same or the pain of where you are at the moment exceeds the amount of pain, that comes with change. Most people don't want to change. They don't want to do something new. They don't want to grow because they're not experiencing enough pain in their status quo and their default. You were, and therefore you had a strategic plan. Were you also acting as a nurse in Iraq? And what
Yeah.
did that country teach you? Like, what did the people in Iraq teach you from your experiences there?
Well, to be fair, I was in the northern part of Iraq, Kurdistan. So yeah, there's a bit of issue there, but they're really good. Like, uh, even though I can say that back home we're not really, lucky financially, I would say, but once I saw my patients, even in Jordan, like, they don't have legs. They were victims of these bombings. I had like a 2-year-old patient who was like blind and deaf, and because of the effects of bombing, he was the only one who survived basically in that incident. So all his family members, parents died at that that bombing incident. So I was still like considering myself lucky. And even up to now, like working in a private hospital, and sometimes, like, I don't know, to be honest, I'm not sure if this is a good thing, but whenever there's a problem, I always like look back, like, I've went through, I think, the worst already. So nothing can really deter me from achieving my goals. Like, these are just minor sacrifices for me, considering what I went through. So yeah, it gave me that motivation as well to like really push hard, because again, you've already done the hardest part. So all along in your journey, it wouldn't be as hard compared to that one.
Right. It's a really good outlook on life. I often also feel that when someone experiences hardship or challenges obstacles at an early age, that's actually a good thing, counterintuitively, because they learn to solve the problem. They learn to deal with headwinds or those issues, and they have confidence in themselves. They know they can overcome anything. And so, not to minimize your struggle or anything, but then working two jobs, it's like, well, at least I have a job, or at least I have two jobs. There are so many people in the world that don't have jobs. So it gives a different perspective on life. And I think one thing I'm learning from you, and I'm sure everyone else is as well, is, when we don't have an entitlement mentality, that is when we can truly be happy. If we think we deserve nothing, then we're grateful for every small thing that we receive in life. And that way life becomes joyful. However, if we think, oh, I'm born in this country and I should be at least on the median wage, or at least I should have these types of cars in my driveway, or this kind of family, or two overseas vacations every year, because that's what I see everyone else doing. then that builds an entitlement mentality. And then even if we do get those things, we're not as happy as the person who feels that every
True.
small thing is a gift from, like you said, from Lord or from God, for those of a faith tradition. So I really like that. I really like that mentality. You came to Australia with $1,000. Um, Tell me, you tried all these different courses and maybe some of them worked, Shopify, Amazon, stock trading, crypto, etc. What point did you sort of think, let me have a go at real estate? Because I know you started with just $50,000, in terms of your first property. But traditionally, real estate, the mindset is it's for people who are already rich. Real estate is not cheap. Stocks, crypto, you can buy with as little as $1,000. So what got you into real estate in the first place?
Yeah, so Mario is my husband. He has some friends who like buy as a group, but it's an apartment in like Schofields. Like they're doing well, but during that time, I was already pregnant, and we were about to buy as well. Just I think from the pressure as well from friends. Like, look, you won't need to spend too much. You won't be renting. But Mario has a different perspective. But this was before we met you. So we bought. Actually, it's 33,000. So
Oh,
but yeah, it's a house and land. Oh, not really house. It's a townhouse, standalone townhouse, and we signed the contract 2021, but it was given to us like settlement was 2 years after, so 2023. And since then, I think we just started really good. So from that 33,000, um to be honest, I didn't really imagine that I can buy a house with that amount. It was just I don't know, I think it's really for us, so we consider that as our PPOR, so 2023. And by the time we settled the property, there was already a good equity, so about 120,000. And then good in timing that I saw your Facebook group, and then I was like, look, why not? Others can do it. Most likely I can as well. So from that 33,000, we had the equity, and then that equity we used to buy two properties. So that was 2023. Um, yeah, 2023. And then, yeah, that's the one in Perth and Townsville. And we got lucky. And I think it's not just luck, really. It's luck and knowledge, I would say, given by someone like you. Thank you for that. Those two properties generated enough equity as well, so it's just rollover basically. That's why last year I bought another two, so we've refinanced. So looking back, for me, really, if those who will say it's just for the rich, I don't have money, just remember, I started with 33,000. So and I have four now, going five. So it's not really. I think you need to change, like, people need to change their perspectives, their perception to real estate. It's not really for the rich, even for the average ones. You just need proper guidance and really know the ins and outs of the industry, basically. You can't just risk. In my case, I still think that, this one is a risk, but it's a calculated risk. Like, given you have that knowledge, the risk is like minimal, I would say, because it's very objective. You are not just buying properties blindly, it's all backed up by data. And yeah, you can see the future, kind of the trends, yeah. So it's an objective risk, and like, yeah, a calculated one. Nothing in life doesn't have like risk, so you have to just really forward that, that step forward. And again, don't just risk things blindly, I would say. So you need to have that group that will back you up, like guidance basically. And you saw, I mean, I saw your post about mental mentor. So it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like a GPS. So if you have a mentor, it's like navigating through darkness, but someone is like holding your hands and like, look, this is the way. So even though you're risking, but there's a good mentor, you have that knowledge somehow in choosing a right property. So yeah, it's good.
Right, right. And I think the great thing about what you've done as well is that you've bought four, now almost five, on like average incomes. You know, you're a registered nurse, your husband's a NDIS support worker. And so I think a lot of people think, okay, it may not be for the rich, but what about borrowing capacity? Like it's all good and well to be able to, like you've done, got instant growth, take equity, get instant growth, take equity, get instant growth, like, by following the data. But they think, oh, what about borrowing capacity? Surely I can only borrow one because I'm on a average income. How did you go about that? I know that you've worked with a mortgage broker. Is there any lessons from your own experience, whereby you can give some advice to others who are like, okay, well, how do I scale this?
So basically my team is really good. I think if I there's someone that you can, get from this conversation, you really need to have a good team backing you up. So you as my mentor, um Agam, is that okay? I'm mentioning his name.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
my mentor. He's really good. My accountant, they're good. So you're right. So it took me a while to buy the third and fourth properties because we are already maxed out for in terms of our borrowing capacity, and that's one thing as well in terms of sacrifice. Remember, I bought that property, the 33,000, as our PPOR. When I was told, look, you are maxed out, that's it. So it's like, surely there's a way. I don't just take anything, surely, like, there must be a way. So how can we proceed? And then
Yeah.
we were told, look, if you will, like, the plan, we did some planning and we eventually decided to sell that PPOR, so that free up some of the borrowing capacity, and then we used trusts. So yeah, so the third and fourth, that's that's via trust structure, and even with the fifth. So before, actually, it's you who introduced, when you have someone who, like, you interviewed as well. Without your course, there's no way I will know about these things. And just because of your group as well, I've met my group, like my mortgage broker, my accountants, and to be honest, even my friends, they are like surprised. And one of my colleagues really verbalized, like, no, there's no way you can buy more, Lendy. There's just no way. Actually, there is. Like, no, because she has two properties as well, and she was told by the bank, you cannot have another loan. So it's like, actually, there is. You just need to have a really good team that will guide you, and yeah, because you're not expected to know everything really. And yeah, Aga, my broker, and Amrit, my accountant, they are really helping me. And
Right.
with your course, which is very comprehensive, so it makes my journey somehow easy.
Hmm.
To be honest, I am excited every time I look for properties. Okay, maybe this one, then I'll run the numbers. And yeah, and my sister, who's also a registered nurse, she came here as well when I was already PR. I helped her already. She kind of followed my steps as well. So she bought one property as well in Safety Bay, 525, and now it's 800. So now with that equity, she can also buy two more. We're working on that as well. So yeah, it's not really as hard. You just need to have that good team as well, that guidance, basically, someone who will guide you.
Right. I don't know what it is about nurses, but I just find that you guys make great property investors. Honestly, there's like, it's not like you, without speaking out of turn, I don't think nurses have like a immense data background, if unless I'm mistaken. Um, it's in like you're in the medical field, whereas property is more to do with finance and economics and that kind of
Mm.
field, but it's probably more a mental game. I think nurses are very resilient people. They see hardship or they see, obviously people suffering on a daily basis. Maybe they just have more mental fortitude. They push their barriers, their own barriers more. Maybe they are more patient as well. I honestly don't know what it is, but I did have a question for you. What is like the Filipino mindset towards real estate? For example, I know in like the subcontinent, like India and surrounds, like my parents' generation, their mindset is very much like, go get a great qualification from a good university, get a good high-paying job, buy a house, and then just spend your whole life paying it off, and then that's life, you know? I think Chinese culture is similar, although I don't want to speak out of turn. And Australia is more of a property investment
Mm.
mindset. Do Filipinos have an investment mindset? Is it a scared of debt mindset, or is it something in the middle?
Yeah, so back home, like there is this like yeah mindset, like you have to work hard through studies, get a good job, buy a house, build your family, that's it. So and most Filipinos, I know some, like you've interviewed one last week, Michael. He is really doing well, and there's really others who did well in terms of property, real estate proper yeah investments. But most Filipinos really, especially my group, I would say. So it's just like that mentality. I have a good job, I will buy a house, that's the dream, and then pay it like the mortgage for like 30 years, and then retire and have pension. Even until now, that's what my mom keeps on telling me. Even like I'm looking for the fifth one, like, look, you're just giving headache to yourself. Why can't you just be happy, you have a job, and then just pay the rest, and then that's it. So I keep on telling her, I'm not really sad like having this property investment. I'm not sad, I'm not really giving problems to myself. It's very minute, like maintenance stuffs, it's like nothing. But the freedom that can give it to me eventually, in a few years to come, it's it's really opposite to what everyone pretty much is doing. Because most, like, I have friends who are just happy, and they're doing full time, they can't even afford to call sick, for example, or take leaves or travels, because their salary is quite enough for the mortgage and basic needs already. So I can't imagine myself doing that for the next 30 years.
Right.
So yeah, and some of my friends will say, and yeah, being in healthcare, people die. I have a friend who was thinking to invest already. She's a close friend. I told her, look, most likely you already have an equity in your house, so why not invest that one? She was leaning to it already, like, okay, Lendy, if you can help me, like, you, yeah, sure. But then when a patient die, he was like, what if I will die soon? I'd rather just travel. So she traveled to Europe for a month, and, like, thinking that she will die, but she's still there. And I I told them, it's you're not really like making a big sacrifice if you will do this journey, the property investment. Because again, with mine, I just bought it via equity. Although I did add a few thousands, but still, we're very comfortable with our mortgage repayments, considering it's already 4 or soon to be 5. So again, you just really need to know, look at it objectively, not in a subjective manner, and yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, and it's like okay, sure, we're making some sacrifices, to raise deposits or to maintain or service the loans. But it's not like we're not having fun in life. It's not like we're living barren lifestyles of noodles and not having holidays. It's like
True.
life is all about balance. I think in a way your friend is right, and let's not park our current life for some future aspiration. But I don't think that's what most property investors are doing, or at least not the educated ones. They're carving out a life for themselves with freedom in the
Mm,
future, whilst
yeah.
living a balanced life now. We're not just throwing all of our money on trips to Bali or anything, but it's not like we're not doing holidays. It's just a more balanced approach. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, Lendy, you know, I think you're quite unique in the sense you've done many other online courses, I think, Shopify, crypto, Amazon, etc. I have not done any of that sort of stuff like personally in terms of courses. How how does my course compare to those? Of course, it's not apples to apples comparison because mine's in real estate. But maybe there are people watching or listening to this who have done different courses in other fields and they want to understand how mine compares so they can see if it's right for them or not. So, what was your experience with that?
I think PK, what stood out, in terms of your program and compared to the others, you're genuine. Like there's everything is black and white. You really gave out everything steps by steps. It's very comprehensive. With my Shopify, for example, once you enroll the course, it's very basic, and then after a few weeks, there will be like additional information, but you have to pay again. You know what I mean? Like there's like, yeah, certain parts of the course, like, oh, for you to have this good like marketing, for example, you need to pay another app. But with yours, you've been transparent. You pretty much put out everything there, and it's just up to you to gather the facts, basically. So yeah, you're just really genuine, 100%. You gave out everything and steps by steps, especially for me. Like, I'm really shy, to be honest, and it's hard for me to like call agents and doing off markets, but and negotiate. But sometimes I still even use your verbatim, the ones like, this is how you do it. um I forgot the Samir. Yeah. So he gave that guidance as well. So like, okay, this is how you do it. So it gave me that confidence that, okay, if this one is working well, then yeah, I can do it as well. And yeah, you never really hide anything from us. You're quite genuine to help. I think that's really what stands out in terms of your course and compared to the others.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And how did you manage time? Because, you're not uh, unemployed. You have jobs, multiple jobs. You have, young family, kids. How did you kind of manage time by obviously learning the course, implementing it, working, family life, leisure, recreation? How did you balance everything?
Oh, it's very easy. It's not really that long that you will have to study like for months just before you can do it. Basically, I think with mine, I just read the entire course for 2 weeks, if I remembered it right, about 2 weeks, and
Like
on
the
the third
videos?
week, yeah, the videos, everything, and it will give you that idea already. So in my case, I don't drive. I don't know how to drive until now. So while waiting the bus, I'll just watch videos while in the bus and while waiting for my shift. So it's like it's not really very time consuming. Just few minutes of the day, and then yeah, you're good.
Right.
So every video that you've done, you can really get special knowledge, like really good ones, very fruitful ones that you can use as well as you navigate this property journey.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And looking ahead, like let's say 5 years, 10 years, what is like your long-term strategy? You know, you've got four now, four properties that is. You want to buy another one that's coming very soon, maybe in regional Victoria. Um, in 5 years' time, like, do you have a goal or 10 years? How many properties do you want? And what is your strategy? Because, you know, you sold your principal place of residence. So then, you know, are you going to sell some investment properties to buy your dream home, like debt free? Is that the plan? And then keep some for passive income, or what's kind of your approach?
Yeah, so the plan really is to sell some. I'm thinking maybe I might sell one, the first property next year, and then, buy more. So acquire more and eventually sell half of those. It's what you are teaching, and paid off the rest. And then, yeah, buy our PPOR. Regarding the PPOR, there's really no rush, to be honest. Like, we're happy where we're doing rent vesting, obviously. So we are happy with where we are now renting. And in terms of PPOR, I honestly don't think I can afford to stay here anytime soon. It's just really expensive. I'm in Sydney. So while we are comfortable, while we have the equity and a bit of cash, we will just acquire more, maybe 6 properties, 7, and then sell some and then fully paid the rest, and then, yeah, buy a PPOR. We'll see. It's not still definite yet as to where. So it's
Right.
more of just really acquire. I did that planning of yours. If I will only have 6 properties, and so sell 3, so I'll have 3 kept, and then, yeah, I'll have a passive income of about 165,000 annually. So that,
Wow.
yeah, so that alone gave me that motivation to, push more. So again, we're not yeah, you're right, there's a bit of sacrifice, but still we're comfortable because we're not just buying properties out of nowhere. We are following data, and the yield is somehow good as well, so we really don't need to fork out heaps of dollars just to keep it going. And the capital growth is really good as well, so it's just a matter of rinse and repeat, basically. Yeah.
Right.
And yes, we still go to vacations annually. Or
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, you just have a way of making things seem so straightforward and um of course, you're very thoughtful and calculated, but at the same time, not careless, but I feel that your approach to property investing is quite carefree. Like, it's not careless, it's not reckless, but at the same time, you're not overthinking it. Like, you've got everything under control, everything managed, your cash flows are thought through. You're just going through the steps one after another and just building yourself something that allows you to get some freedom back, which is already happening, which I love. I don't want to go on and on because I want to respect your time. Is there anything that I haven't asked or anything that you want to share to the audience? There's probably going to be like, you know, 10, 20, 30,000 people watching or listening to this across different platforms. Maybe to the Filipino community, or maybe not to the Filipino community, maybe to everyone, any words of wisdom or golden nuggets or anything at all that we haven't covered that you wanted to cover?
yeah, so nothing much really, but to those who are watching, thank you for your time. But I just want to emphasize that, life in general, it's not easy. You will have difficulties, you will have problems, but if you will just only try, just give it a go. There's a lot of Aussies or individuals out there that somehow were successful in terms of property. And you just need to build that group of yours, be backed up with a good mentor, mortgage broker, and accountant. And again, you really don't need heaps of amount to start. If you will only just really start, remember, I only had 30,000, and then now I have 4 going 5. So it's not really that easy. And yeah, you really don't need to just eat once a day, for example. You can. Maybe just have that knowledge, I would say, and you can make that calculated risk. Knowledge is very important. And this one I'm not promoting because I'm talking to PK right now, but truly with that few thousands for you to pay for his course, you will really gain like, oh, even thousands. Right now I have like around 500 thousand of equity. So like for example 6,000 or 7,000, and in return you have like 500,000. It's like nothing. So PK is really genuine. I'm not saying this just to promote him, but really you just need to start.
Right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, no one ever, I read this the other day. I posted it on the Facebook group as well. No one ever started a property portfolio without
Mm.
starting. Like it seems kind of a stupid comment, but you really have to start, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. But thank you for sharing your authentic, raw, and genuine story, Lendy. I feel that we need to do another session with you in like 5 years' time when you've kind of implemented a lot of this long-term strategy that you're talking about. I think that would be a really cool story to say, that now you've sold maybe half of the properties and your passive income is X and you're having to work less and maybe you've got your principal place of residence or maybe you're enjoying rent investing so much that you just carry on. Let's see. But I mean, backtracking to the start of the episode, for me, the biggest takeaway was not even your property investing journey, although that isn't nothing, like it's very special. I think the biggest thing was the foundation that you built for yourself, based on your character, based on the experiences that you had to go through, maybe voluntarily, involuntarily, to set yourself up for where you are today. So if anyone who's watching or listening and think that, oh, Lendy is really lucky, or people who are well off or don't have to go to work or have passive income, six-figure passive income are just fortunate or lucky. Like it's really not the case. Everyone needs to build their own character, the content of your character manifests in everything that you do, relationships and also finance. So the character comes first, and character is often built through an ordeal of fire. Character is not built through easy times, and certainly you haven't had those easy times, early on. So it's something for all of us to learn and to get outside our comfort zones and really strive for whatever we want in life. Maybe someone watches this or listens and like, okay, I'm not really interested in property. That's fine. Like, although I'm a property guy, that's fine. Whatever you do want in life, go get it. Listen to Lendy and use that inspiration to go for whatever you're after. I think that's the overarching principle. And of course, my audience is predominantly finance orientated, property orientated. So we'll dovetail or channel that energy in terms of financial freedom. So thank you for serving the entire community. Thank you for inspiring me actually as well. I'm really grateful to have you as a student, and I'm probably going to be a student of yours in the future as you continue to grow. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lindy.
No, thanks, PK.
And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Like I always say, there's more than 200 of these client interviews with wonderful people like Lendy. Honestly, don't mind if you do the course or not, although, like Lendy th said, it's probably a good idea. But even if you don't do the course, like watch these or listen to these interviews because all these amazing people will serve to inspire and educate you. And I think that's how you build your character. That's how you build the foundation off which you can then, you can grow off. You can really shoot for the stars. Thank you for being with me. Hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and most importantly, share it with someone who you think really needs this right now. Thank you again, and thank you, Lindy.